every time you engage and disengage the clutch, you're slightly slipping the materials. So this metal on the back of the pressure plate is sliding against this friction material on your clutch disc. And over time, you wear out your clutch. So what BMW and pretty much all other OEMs do now is put a clutch delay valve in the clutch line. And you can kind of imagine it's like this circle is the outside diameter of your clutch line, and this little hole in the middle is your clutch delay valve. And it's just restricting how much brake fluid flows through the line, and it controls how quickly the pressure plate engages and disengages with your clutch. So this is really good for your car because when you're shifting fast or when you're getting going off of the line, and if you like dump the clutch, it can prevent you from slipping it too much and creating too much heat and damaging something. And it also protects your drivetrain because now you can't throw all that power at your like differential and axles and drive shaft. They don't get like that shock of power right away. It helps it kind of engage progressively so that the power is pushed out to the rest of your drivetrain smoothly. Now, the downside of it is if you do want to dump your clutch and get going from a stop quickly, or you want to shift fast and you know what you're doing, this prevents that from happening. So a lot of people feel like jerky shifts. They feel getting locked out of fast shifts, if you're racing or, trying to run the quarter mile and do a launch off the line. This can prevent you from having a smooth launch, shifting fast, and basically just controlling the car the way that you want to. Because again, no matter how quickly you push the clutch in or release it, it's going to engage and disengage the clutch at like a set slow speed. So after you kind of get past that initial learning curve, you most likely want to remove the clutch delay valve because it can teach you some bad habits, and it can also prevent you from getting the most out of your driving experience. One other thing that I'll mention is some people think this could lead to excess wear as well as reduce how much power your clutch can hold, because again, if you're shifting fast at high RPM and you're pushing out a lot more power, slowly engaging the clutch can cause it to slip excessively, so that can cause excessive wear, and it can also prevent it from getting full clamping force. So that's why some people think that removing the clutch delay valve actually increases the pressure that the pressure plate puts down and increases the torque capacity of the clutch. I don't know that for sure, but it's definitely a possibility. I mean, it makes sense. So I'll show you how to remove the clutch delay valve. Again, this is something that you kind of have to decide on your own whether it's worth it or not. For me, it's definitely worth it, especially like improving my shifting. Even driving around town, shifting from first to second gear can be kind of clunky. So this should help improve that. So we're underneath the car. Just to explain the concept of this, or what you're going to do, is pretty simple. This line going into your slave cylinder needs to be removed. And you need to remove this bracket that's holding the line in place. And once you do that, you're going to clamp on to this line with vice grips just to prevent it from leaking too much fluid. And then you're going to take a wood screw, stick it into your slave cylinder, thread it in a little bit, and then pull it out. And you'll pull out the clutch delay valve. So to kind of walk you through the steps, I'm underneath the car right now. This is like the front driver's side wheel, and you're basically going to remove all the under panels that are underneath the front driver's side of the vehicle. Like this is going into where your clutch pedal is, to give you an idea of where I am underneath the car. So I'm underneath the car, access your slave cylinder, get all the under panels removed. It's like 8 and 10 millimeter screws. And then this bracket is attached to the slave cylinder bolt. It was actually threaded through here, so I removed the bolt, pulled the bracket out, and then put the bolt back in place just so I could keep it. Right now I'm doing a clutch job, so I'm just doing this at the same time. I wanted to make sure I don't lose that bolt in this process. But yeah, just take that bottom bolt out, remove this bracket. You can kind of wiggle it out of the way. And then we are going to remove this clip, clamp down on the line, like I said, with the vice grips, and pull it out. And now I have removed the clutch line. I have it clamped just to limit how much brake fluid came out, but actually none came out, which was nice. Just in case, you probably want to have a catch pan or something underneath, so if fluid comes out, you don't spill it all over the ground. So now we're going to put our screw in here. I'll try to show this. Hard to show on camera and get the focus. But yeah, wiggle it in there and twist the screw. Focus. There we go. So I'm just twisting the screw. I can feel like a little bit of resistance. I think it's twisting. Okay, and then we're going to pull it out. Yep. And there's our bad boy. So this is what we end up with. I ended up going in there a total of 3 times. The first time I pulled out this piece. This is a cap that goes on the clutch line. So before we put it back in, we're basically just going to pop this on. That's why it has the little recess. You can see which one needs to actually be saved. And then this is what came out the second time. Oops. This is the little rubber grommet that holds the clutch delay valve in place. It's just a perfect cylinder. Okay. And then when you go in the third time, you get the actual clutch delay valve. And it's this metal restrictor plate. So you can see the tiny hole that it forces it through. The outside dimensions are how much fluid could be flowing in there. And then that little hole is what it allows through. So I had a little bit of trouble getting it in. I didn't mind, damaging it and mangling it, obviously, because it's not going back in. But to get the screw in there, I needed the screwdriver just to help get more force in to twist it and get that bite that I wanted. And then I used some channel locks to actually pull it out. So if you're weak like me, you'll need those. If you're a strong guy, you might be able to do it with just your fingers, but I started getting tired of my fingers going numb, so I just used those to get that off. So this is the clutch line that we pulled off, and we're going to take that rubber piece and put it on the end. Push it on hard. You should actually feel it kind of pop all the way on. And if it's bottomed out, then you know it's all the way seated. And so what you do after that is go back up. I added this just to catch additional fluid that was leaking out. I just squeezed the towel into this corner. But after you're done, you basically put your clutch line back in. Pop your clip back on. And then you're going to pop off this bleed nipple. And so you can actually bleed it from the back. Some people have had trouble with that, but I've never had any issues. You can try the reverse bleed method if you want, but basically just attach a bleeder onto there with your water bottle or whatever your one-man bleeder system is. I wouldn't use a power bleeder, but doing like a passive bleed with a bottle, you should be able to get it done. And that's all you have to do. Your clutch delay valve's now removed. Go enjoy your improved clutch pedal feel.